This episode is brought to you by Cellular Performance Institute. Is your body beat up and broken down? Look into stem cells today. It could change your life. Go to cellularperformanceinstitute.com. Join Sam Tripoli and I on the road doing tinfoil hat comedy. Friday, February 20th in Baltimore. February 21st in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. And March 6th in Bakersfield, California. Go to samtripoli.com for tickets. Thank you. I can't believe I won. And you still got people out there with double masks and face shields and shit. Look into it.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Look Into It Tonight. It's all music, no conspiracy theories, no fucking Erica Kirk, none of that shit. It's all music tonight with the drummer and owner of Judge and Jury Records, the drummer of 3 Days Grace, Neil Sanderson. What's up?
What's up, man? Good to see you again, you know?
You, dude.
Man.
The way we met, I had Howard Benson on my podcast before, and we went through the whole story of how we, like, it was so weird, because, 3 Days Grace is fucking huge, especially now, right? Like, the revival is like, are you guys bigger than ever now?
It seems that way, man. It's like, we caught this wave, our story, one of our stories is that, our original lead singer left in 2013. And then, we had Matt, who is Brad, our bass player's brother, fill in for 12 years. And now we have Adam, our original singer, back in the band, and Matt. So we got two singers now, and it's kind of what the fans wanted to see. And we're on this crazy journey, man. At this point in our lives, it's like, wow, you look out and to see the sea of the crowds, man. It's just like at a certain point, you're just like, man, I'm pretty lucky to be sitting here where I am right now,
Pretty lucky is an understatement, man. Guys, it's crazy. It's crazy because, like, what you just said about your band, no one can say about their band. There's never there's never been a band that had a singer. They did a few albums, blew up. Singer leaves. They get a new singer. They do a few albums, and then they bring back the original singer, and the new singer stays.
Yeah.
The new singer stays.
Yeah, man.
That almost happened a little bit, kind of, with like Van Hagar, that shit, a little bit, because remember that one tour, there was like David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar were like kind of coming back, and then we're going to tour. I mean, it sort of, but not the way you guys fucking. This is the first time in the history of rock and roll, dog. You go back to fucking Chuck Berry and fucking Elvis Presley to today. You don't have, there's none of that shit. Cause like, it's weird because in metal and in rock, when you lose your lead singer, it goes two ways. Either it's going to be really bad and you beg for your new singer back, or it goes fucking even better. You look at Iron Maiden. Paul Di'Anno did the first two Iron Maiden albums. Paul Di'Anno had some classic shit. Paul Di'Anno was Iron Maiden's first singer. Did the first two albums. Great. It didn't work out. Then they brought Bruce Dickinson in for the third album. And usually when you lose your lead singer, there's 50-50. Your band is going to go down the toilet. 50.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You never
know. And like, it's just, I remember, in 2013 when like it was happening and, there were a lot of reasons it was happening. I believe, by the way, that life is all about chapters. So if it's a new chapter, you just open the book and go and live, I guess. But I remember Brad calling me and calling the other guys in the band, especially Matt, who was the new lead singer in this thing. We had like a 30-date sold out tour with Shinedown, and we announced that this was the new Case. And I remember him going, "Hang on, boys, here comes the wave of hate." Because it was like, and yeah, it was some tough kind of like, moments where like, if you start reading the comments, it's like, man, what do we ever do to you? This is just our life that's happening in real time. And we're, but we didn't fuck around. We just like kept our kind of head down and made music, and it felt like people thought we were damaged goods and shit, but what are you going to do? It's like actually your life. It's the hand that we were dealt at the time. And so we just, in 2013, we just like, we had a song called Painkiller. And, that actually Matt, who replaced Adam in 2013, had a really successful band, My Darkest Days. They had like a #1 with the song Porn Star Dancing, and Chad Kroger was involved, and Ludacris was involved, and Zach Wilde and shit. So he already had like, he basically was already in the game. And we had the song Painkiller that he had written, kind of at the time, just for his band that sounded like 3 Days Grace. And we played that demo for our manager, Cliff Bernstein.
You need a fix when you fall down. You need to find a way to get you through another day. Let me be the one to numb you out. Let me be the one to hold you, never gonna let you get away. The shoulder you cry on, the dose that you die on. I can be your painkiller, killer, killer. You love me till it's all over, over. 'Cause I'm the shoulder you cry on, the dose that you die on. I can be your painkiller, killer, killer. I know what you want so desperately. I'll give you one for free. Forever you're coming back to me. Now I'm gonna give you what you need. 'Cause I know what you feed on, and what you lean on, and what you lean on. The shoulder you cry on, the dose that you die on. I can be your painkiller, killer, killer. You love me till it's all over, over. 'Cause I'm the shoulder you cry on, the dose that you die on. I can be your painkiller, killer, killer. Did you find another cure? Did you find another cure? I can be your painkiller, killer, killer. You love me till it's all over, over. 'Cause I'm the shoulder you cry on, the dose that you die on. I can be your painkiller, killer, killer. Painkiller.
And he's like, I don't care if you guys have any more songs, go into the studio and record that thing right now. 'Cause the best way we can try to like do what we can do is get music out and go, this is what it is now. And so we did that, and like enough people were on board with us for the journey that like the song did really well at radio. But God, yeah, I had to stop reading the comments, man, because if you take the comments personally, it's like, it's a dark road you can go down. And, but fast forward, we had a bunch of #1s with him. whether or not people consider it as damaged goods with a new lead singer. It's like, you know, people take that stuff pretty personally. It's not their life, it's my life, but it was personal to a lot of people going like, fuck you guys, you know, you guys are a cover band now and stuff. But we just kept going. And, you know, we went to places we'd never been because like we went to Russia and they were kind of like, you know, at the time, like we had never been there and they were open-minded about like, what is this new iteration of 3 Days Grace? We were going to Eastern Europe and shit. We were just like doing what we could. It felt like we were climbing out of a pit for sure, you know, and then, you know, I'm kind of doing a broad stroke on a timeline now, but then, you know, we started talking about bringing Adam back and talking with Adam and, you know, and Matt is like, we wouldn't have been able to do it if we didn't have people in the band who like check the ego at the door. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are like, fuck that, I'm the singer now, you know, and, you know, but we all saw the bigger picture of like, what would it look like if we were like the ultimate iteration of 3 Days Grace and just put it all together. And there's like multiple eras, but now we can go out and we can perform both eras now. And so I think
Whose idea was that? Take me to when that happened. Like, who said, yo, what if we get Adam back and keep Matt and just fucking, like, it's never happened before.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that? Do you remember?
That was Brad's idea, which is Matt's brother, who's been, you know, he and I have been playing together since we were 15, you know, like, and Adam, like we basically started in the 9th grade and stuff. And sometimes he's like the voice of reason. He's kind of sometimes like the mom of the band, you know what I mean? Like where he can, like, he's like, I guess the most grounded and saw sort of beyond there. He was in communication with Adam, you know, like they were like rekindling a relationship. And, you know, there was a lot of shit that we all had put in the past. A lot of stuff where we were different people. There was a lot of shit involved. There's a lot of like just the typical, not typical, but stereotypical shit. Like there was a lot of drugs involved and a lot of outside influences and a lot of like confusion onto what, you know, and you get to a certain point, we all grew up a little bit and, you know, and it was like, Adam was kind of like, I'd be down to have this conversation. Brad was like, let's go get coffee, you know, and just talk about it. And it was really Matt who was like, you know, he was thinking about the fans, you know, he wasn't thinking about himself. He was like, that's what the fans would want. And then, you know,
it has to be Matt. It has to be Matt.
Yeah.
It has to be him.
Yeah.
How the fuck would it happen without him?
I know.
Without him suggesting it.
Yeah. I know.
That's why it's never happened before, because no Sammy Hagar ain't gonna say, hey,
no,
bring fucking David Lee Roth back.
Yeah. Matt, there's no, he's one of those guys where there isn't a bad bone in his body. He's just like, you know, it's not like some people would kind of get caught up and go, you know what, you're going to take half of the spotlight away from me. He just doesn't think like that. And now it's the best version of 3 Days Grace that could ever put together. And now, like, I mean, I got 70 shows on the books this year. I was looking at them and it's all just fucking kind of, you know, it's all right there in front of us now. You know, after 25 years, man.
But you guys all checked, especially Matt. I mean, it's really like he would have to accept it. Like we're gonna bring back the old singer. The only way that happened is he suggested. Like he thought, how cool.
Yeah. You know, and he just talked to his brother. His brother said, "What about this?" And he was kind of like, yeah, like open-mindedness, you know. And I think there was a part of it too. He's like, oh, so I can do half as much work and make 4 times as much money. I can bug him about that. That's not, you know.
Business is business. But you know what? When it's all said and done, you got one vocalist who knows both eras, right? And man, when I saw you guys live at the Ontario fucking ice hockey thing, that's a whole nother story. That like how that ended up happening. There's so much backstory to. You're even doing this podcast.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah.
It all comes from me in Atlanta with Cam and Dreambeard. That's on your label because. Only the drummer of 3 Days Grace, you actually own half the label the 3 Days Grace is on. Like,
yeah, well, yeah. So 3 Days Grace does some stuff with the label, but Three Days Grace is still kind of through RCA. We signed our lives away to Sony back in 2002. But no, Judge and Jury has just been like, I got really lucky, man. I mean, I know that you had my partner Howard Benson on the podcast. He's like one of the top rock producers, and he never had a partner in anything in his career. And he took me under his wing to be essentially what started as like a production duo, because he wanted to maybe have someone that would do sort of some of the heavy lifting with the music. And he's kind of like known as the best vocal producer in the game, and I mean, he's like My Chemical Romance, and he's done, he's like POD and Papa Roach and, Gavin DeGraw, and he's also done John Bon Jovi. The list goes on. He sold like 150 million albums. He was actually an aerospace engineer at NASA before he decided to become a music producer in the late 90s. And so he and I started we were making 3 Days Grace records together since our second album, 1X. And then we decided to just, let's make a record together. You can kind of be the point person on the music. I'll be the point person on the vocals. And that's how we started. And then that kind of grew into a conversation where we were getting frustrated. I was going down to Nashville as a songwriter, being back in the day, being like hungover in a room of people that I didn't know, writing a shitty song that's probably never going to come out. So I was already jaded with that. And he had so many experiences being a producer where, you produce, you put your like blood, sweat, and tears into something, and then something at the label happens, and then the record doesn't come out. And we had been talking about that a lot. And that's what grew into like, why don't we, if we're the label, then we're going to put out whatever the fuck we want. And we're going to we can write it. We can not write it. We can bring in it was almost like a production and writing collective. But if we believe in the song, we're going to actually be the label that puts it out. And that's when we were like, let's do this. Cause that's fun. Like I got tired of working on stuff that, outside of 3 Days Grace, that I didn't even know if it was going to come out, or I didn't even know who was going to be the artist at the end of the day, which by the way is like a lot of people in Nashville and Los Angeles. That's what they do. You got to write 100 songs for one song to see the light of day, which is fine for some people. But me, I'm like, I want to write something that I know that people are going to be able to hear. So that was really kind of the birth of Judge and Jury Records.
God fucking damn. That's a lot of shit right there. Holy fuck. Now,
it's fun.
Now that we know the gist, you and Howard Benson, he's like, the 2000s rock mogul producer, a la Rick Rubin for the 2000s band. You and Howard joined forces, and you guys are Judge and Jury Records. Now, let's go way, way fucking back. How the hell did 3 Days Grace form? Like, you guys are in Canada, in Toronto.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Dude, I've been in 3 Days Grace since I was 14 years old.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. So, Adam's cousin Kale, who is still our bro. He actually is on the road with us. He does guitar teching. He gets up on stage with us. He moved to my school in the 4th grade. And so I was friends with Kale Gontier. And then in the 8th grade, I met Adam through him, and I heard Adam playing guitar. And as soon as he opened his mouth and started singing, I already knew that we were going to go to the same high school together. I was like, I want to be in a band with that guy, because I just instantly,
Did he have long hair?
Yeah, we all kind of had,
What year was that?
That was 1992, and our first gig was in 92, man, in the 9th grade.
After hair metal got the plug pulled. You guys... Yeah,
the small town, Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. And
I got 10th Planet Peterborough out there, Stuart Landry.
Nice. And
what music were you a metalhead growing up? What music were you into growing up?
Well, Peterborough still has this rock station called The Wolf 101.5 FM. And right during that time, they started what was called the alternate route. And it was like an hour every night, you know, because they're like a lot of classic rock and stuff. But and for an hour every night, it was that whole movement, man. It was 1992. It was Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, like Pearl Jam, like Smashing Pumpkins, and that was it. We'd take our cassette tapes and tape it.
Name your top 3 bands at that point, your top 3 bands that you listen to all the time.
Stem Cells, they could do some wild shit down there.
You know, I got the stem cells in my shoulder. My shoulder was jacked. I went down there, worked, man.
Eric Anders' neck was f***ed up, and then he went down and got stem cell treatment, and now it doesn't bother him at all anymore.
I definitely recommend CPI. It's changed my life. The best stem cell clinic in the world.
I just come and I do stem cells to make sure that I'm resetting my body and staying healthy.
It regenerates tissue, reduces inflammation. The results are amazing.
CPI Stem Cells is where you want to go. There's no other place in town. They do the best work in the world. I feel incredible.
If there's anything causing you to not live the quality of life that you like, then this investment is more than worth it.
When it comes to the science of stem cells, no one comes close to CPI. There's not even a close second.
For a free doctor call to see if stem cells is the right option for you, visit us at cpistemcells.com.
Alice in Chains all day, man. You know, and the Pumpkins. I remember like Smashing Pumpkins. When I heard the song Today, I was in grade 9. I was like, what is this, man? what you know, and
Billy Corgan on my podcast.
I saw that.
I just fucking picked his brain, dog.
Yeah.
Like a fucking Nazi scientist.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I have an older brother who's 8 years older than me. So I kind of got my training on like what he was into, which was like Sabbath and Zeppelin. So I had that already as a kid.
Okay.
But like we'd get our, you know, tape, high speed dubbing cassette, get the radio, and we would tape the alternate route.
93, 94, 95.
Yeah. 92, 93, 94. So like grade 9, 10, and 11. Okay. And that was that. And that was, you know, 3 days. But then there's also, you know, Canada has a really good, solid music scene. And there's a lot of amazing artists that like aren't actually like don't do a lot of business. Yeah. Brian Adam. I mean, he's, you know, but there's bands like, you know, like Our Lady Peace, I Mother Earth, Finger 11, you know, Matthew Good Band, who like at that time.
Are you familiar with Exciter?
I have heard of Exciter. They were a little bit before.
Thrash band. They were like back when, you know, everyone talks about Metallica, Exodus, Slayer, the speed metal scene. Exciter was my introduction to speed metal. When I went to, I was just all into just Motley Crue and Judas Priest and Kiss and Iron Maiden, and then I went to Music Plus. It's like a chain of record stores back in the day. There was a chain, dude. It was like fucking a chain, dude. It was like Applebee's, a record store, Music Plus. And I would go through the metal section. They had a little metal section, and I would look for, everybody was trying to discover a new band. So you had to get an album that no one had. That was your album. You discovered them. That's your fucking band. And it's all based on the record cover. Look at Exciter, Violence and Force. And no, actually, I looked at Circus Magazine, the heavy metal premier magazine of the 80s, and there was a little review. They go, Exciter from Canada. They have super ultra heavy with Motorhead overtones. And I'm like, that's a good review. So I I drove my bike. It was like fucking half an hour to Music Plus. Went through the heavy metal section, found Exciter. I'm like, oh shit, this was that fucking band from Circus. And the record cover was amazing. It was the Violence and Force record covers, like some dudes breaking into a house and there's a woman shutting the door and there's an arm, a green arm coming through. It's like Violence.
Full Metal.
Yeah.
Full Metal.
Like,
yeah.
It's sold, dog. I bought that motherfucker. I had that album, drove another 30 minutes back home, and I put that record on my record player, and I didn't know what speed metal was. I didn't know, and it was speed metal, but it wasn't Slayer speed. It was like Metallica speed.
Yeah, a little bit more like maybe they smoked a joint before they started, right?
Too crazy, and I fucking hated it. I'm like, what is this punk rock? What is? I'm 14 years old. Like, fuck this. I hate it. I would have taken it back and got a refund because that's what I usually do when the album sucks. But it was too late. So I'm going to take this back tomorrow. So the next day, I'm getting ready to go back. Let me hear it one more time. I put it in. Exciter from Canada blew me the fucking way. I'm like, then I got all into speed metal. I got into Metallica and Slayer, and that's all I wanted to hear. So Exciter from Canada. And there was another band that I was into too, that was kind of thrash. Raven. Are you familiar?
Yeah, I've heard of Raven. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, man.
Oh, dude.
But you listen to it the first time you didn't like it, and then the second time you loved it. Like that, some of the best records I like. The first time I hear them, like, what is this? And then
which one?
For me, I mean, some of the new stuff like Sleep Token, like I'm a big fan of them, but it takes me a few listens, and I got to think about the music a little bit, and I can't just
Sleep Token.
Yeah,
yeah.
Love it, I'm like, oh yeah, dude. There's some serious chops in that band, but you were I don't know how much you talked to Howard about the Motorhead days, but he was producing Motorhead for a bit. My partner, Judge Jury, and what's cool about Howard? He has, and I guess only certain people got these, but Howard has a bullet casing with Lemmy's ashes in it. That was like his post-mortem gift to serious people in his life. Yeah. Pretty wild. Yeah, man. Yeah.
So you and Adam click and take me to the record deal signing and your first big hit.
Sure. So we were in, like I said, Peterborough, Ontario, which is about an hour and a half from Toronto. And, and we were finishing high school. I actually went to college I started college for electrical engineering, which was like the hardest shit I've ever done. The math, if you missed one math course, you failed because what you missed might kill you when you get to the lab with high voltage and shit. So I was kind of doing that, but then we had some interest in Toronto, which is, we didn't really, interest, but you just fall at that age. You don't think that there's any possible chance of failure. You just go and do it. So we moved to Toronto into this like decrepit basement apartment, and we were playing gigs, and
at this point
it was myself, Adam, Brad, and then two other guys, Joe, who is a lawyer now, who's a lawyer for me sometimes, and Phil, and so basically we moved to Toronto as a 5-piece.
You're moving to Toronto. You guys are like serious about music.
Yeah, we're serious, but I remember like we would play any gig anywhere in Toronto. We opened for a movie premiere one time. It was like we went out and rocked, and they were like, "Oh, we'd like to thank." At that time, we were called Groundswell. That was our name of our band. That's the original name. And then like, hey, thanks to Groundswell. Now here's this like movie. Like just we didn't care. Give us a stage. We then a couple of the guys kind of moved on in their own paths, and we became a 3-piece. So it was Adam and Brad and myself. We got interest by
Adam sang and played guitar.
That's right.
Kind of like Nirvana.
Exactly. Yeah. And we had interest by who's still a great friend of mine. I consider him one of my mentors, is Michael McCarty. And at the time, he was president of EMI Music Publishing. Then he's gone on. Now he's got his own publishing company, and he's just, I don't know. I look back, and if it wasn't for like him truly believing in us, but also telling us that it wasn't good enough yet, what we had wasn't good enough yet. He had a little studio, and he let us go and work in that studio, in downtown Toronto. So, but we would only we'd like after midnight, we could work from like midnight till 3 a.m. And we had what we thought were great songs. And some of those songs are on the debut album, but he said, there's still something there that you guys can do. And I remember the moment we were sitting there with our producer at the time, who's, still works with us from time to time, Gavin Brown. And we said, okay, all of this stuff, we're saying this and we're saying that, and we need a song that just like dagger to the heart and twist it like in one sentence. Like, how do we do that? I hate you. What's the worst thing you can say to somebody? I hate you. What's even worse than that? Like, I hate everything about you. We're like, okay, well, that's pretty dark, but how are we like, we're thinking about like, how are the ladies going to be engaged in something that just says, I hate everything about you? It's like, well, why do I still love you? So I hate everything about you. Why do I love you?
Sounds like a stripper.
Yeah. You know, and it was like
I was a DJ at a strip club for 10 years.
Yeah.
During that whole time, I could only date strippers. You can't date regular girls because a regular girl, once they find out you DJ at the club, they take you seriously.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
To date
Yeah. That makes sense. Absolutely. And it was 4:00 in the morning. We had the little guitar riff, the intro to I Hate Everything About You. We said, I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? Go sing it. Adam walked into that vocal booth, sang that part. And that moment in time is actually the vocal that we used for what you hear on the radio or whatever today. We recorded it, made a demo, and we played it for Michael McCarty the next day. And he was like, I knew you guys had it in you. I knew you could do it. He flew to New York, the coming days, played it for record labels. And then suddenly we had they were tabling offers, it was so fun.
Every time we lie awake, after every we take, every feeling that I get, but I haven't missed you yet. Every roommate kept awake by every sigh and scream we make. All the feelings that I get, but I still don't miss you yet. Only when I stop to think about it. I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? Every time we lie awake, after every we take, every feeling that I get, but I haven't missed you yet. Only when I stop to think about it. I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? Only when I stop to think about you. I know. Only when you stop to think about me do you know. I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? You hate everything about me. Why do you love me? I hate you. Hate. I hate you. Love me. I hate everything about you. Why do I love you?
That is such an amazing song. When I first heard that's what got me. That I fucking hate everything about you. That song. It's still. I have an all-time playlist that's like 9 hours. Like I've collected music my whole life. Music is my life. and I have this 9-hour playlist on Apple Music. And that motherfucker comes up all the time, man. And that's a great song. And when I saw it live last year, it sounded so good live. I've been to a million rock shows, heavy metal shows. Most of them in the 80s and 90s, it was all about how did it sound? Usually a production sucks. And when you have a good live production, you're like, oh my God, it sounded like the fucking album. That's what people say. It sounded like the fuck, but that was rare. But these days, the sound guys, they got this shit mastered because every concert I go to sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Including yours. When I saw 3 Days Grace at the Ontario fucking Junior Hockey League fucking arena, 10,000 screaming fucking fans. Every song sounded perfect. It was amazing. The sound quality live now, they got that shit mastered.
Yeah, man. I mean, and like we got just some great advice early on to like, it's easy to make something so complex that only you understand it. You can just keep adding ingredients, but reciprocally, it's extremely difficult to make something that's minimalist, that engages and compels people to like feel something. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? And that was like, and I'll tell you, one of the biggest moments, we had that song demoed out. We had, record labels coming up to check us out. It all happened so fast. It's like, it's just, but I just remember like waking up and just like, okay, what's next? This might actually happen. I might not have to go to like electrical engineering math class. And I'll tell you, the best advice we ever got from who's still my mentor today. He said, guys, let's sit down. Okay. You got like the song of like, you guys kind of like achieved what you were setting out to do.
And this was like 2003,
2002. He said, let's talk about the notion of evolving. And what he meant is like, bands that try to be everything to everybody. So they have a political song, and then they have on the tailgate of a pickup truck drinking a beer on a Friday night song. And then you've got like a toxic love song. And then you've got, a internal struggle song. He's like, fuck that. He's like, do you think, if you're Coca-Cola, why do you need to taste like Pepsi or something, And then he made the analogy of AC/DC. He said, do you guys think AC/DC ever evolved? And his point was that they really did not. And so he's like, let's like talk about what AC/DC means, what they stand for in like 1 to 2 sentences. And it was something like, 4 good timing guys from down under looking for a hedonistic party and some chicks and a good time. Period. Every AC/DC song, you can draw a straight line back to that sentence that I just said, And he's like, we're going to do that for 3 Days Grace right now in this meeting. What is it? What is it, guys? Let's go. Let's talk about it. And we ended up coming up with something that was like identifying something in your life that's holding you back, putting you down, or is going to kill you. Describe what it feels like to be there. Suggest ways that we're going to try to overcome and get to a better place. Every single 3 Days Grace song, you can draw a line. So we don't write songs about, on a Friday night, cracking a cold beer. We don't like write suddenly like we're going to talk about some politics in this song. It's like, no, we're talking about things that are holding us back, keeping us down, are going to kill us, and how we might overcome that. And that's what actually feels real to us, because that includes anxiety, depression, the world around us, feeling alone, isolation, alienation.
For all your 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu merchandise, please visit 10thplanetjj.com/shop. We also got a Look Into It t-shirt that just dropped. Thank you very much for your support.
We never divulge from that. And some people might call it a formula, but I disagree. It's like, it's what we can relate to. It's talking about depression, talking about anxiety, toxic relationships, feeling like shit, trying to figure out where the hope is and all of that. And we've just stuck to that because it feels real to us. It's what we want to sing about, period.
And it's bigger than ever now. Cause at first, when hair metal got unplugged, nobody knew that it would come back big and strong. Like in the 90s, dude, I was in a couple hair metal bands. I was quite a few of them. And one of them, the singer from Black and Blue, his name is Jamie St. James. He showed up to my house in the 90s when metal was super dead. He showed up as an electrician. And I was like, are you Jamie St. James from Black? And the 90s were dark for hair metal. It was over. But now we know, looking back, anytime something is huge, any band that has 2 or 3 multi-platinum albums, you might die and get buried deep on the ground, but eventually hang out, survive, relax. You're going to come back. If you have 2 or 3 big albums, you're going to come back. So it's like that, like for every genre. So at first, the 80s bands came back, Kiss reunion. And then Guns N' Roses reunion, Motley Crue reunion. And now those guys are getting a little old. You know what I mean? Kind of like, it's time to pull out. But then the 90s band, then there was a 90s revolution. Alice in Chains, bigger than ever, than fucking Korn. And, 9 Inch Nails is like Pink Floyd now. And then now it's the 2000s. Now it's crazy.
Yeah, man.
It's like,
it is crazy.
They're bigger than ever now, right?
Yeah. I think there's this, 20-year cycle, and it has something to do with like, the original 3 Days Grace fans, had kids, and the kids were, in the room when they were playing our albums, and now they're fans, and it's a beautiful thing. I think that's a big part of it. But also, especially right now, people are afraid of like computer machine music, like AI making music and stuff. And I don't really worry about that stuff, because I think that there's an inherent human touch that you need. And I think people are super sensitive to smell bullshit. Like when something is contrived, it goes back to like what I was saying before about, song number 1 is political. Song number 2 is partying on a Friday night. Song number 3 is about, it's like you smell the bullshit through that. You're trying to appease and try to be everything to everybody. And that just alludes back to, no, people want to know that it's coming from like the heart, the brain, and the guts of the humans that penned it and sat down and said, I'm going to be, and that's never going to change. And so I think that's the thing, that the bands that are able to stick around for like, a quarter century, half a century, they wrote from their guts, and they never tried to like be something for everybody. I think that's the one thing where you can kind of see what bands stick around is the ones that are like honest and true to themselves and not trying to like put on a show.
There's only been a couple bands that didn't go through the evolutionary process. It's like AC/DC, like you mentioned, and like Slayer. They never went. It was Slayer just stayed fucking steady.
Yeah.
They didn't fuck around. AC/DC.
Yeah.
They didn't fuck around. Like from Back in Black to Thunderstruck, and so like all the same shit.
Yeah.
But most bands go through a typical evolutionary thing.
Sure.
And they'll be like, in the early days, we were harder, and then we got commercial and trying to write poppy songs, and maybe it worked out a little bit, but then it worked out eventually, and then we're going back to the early days. Everybody like, we're going back to the hard rock days, and then just like Kiss did that. Like Kiss was hard, and then they went disco and went down. And they go, we're hard again. And then they went Bon Jovi and went down. And they go, we're hard again. So bands go through that shit. They want to go through that.
Yeah.
I want to be commercial. I don't want to be technical no more. And then it falls apart. And it's every band goes through the same shit. And and with vocalists too, like what you guys did, no one's done that in the vocalist department, where you brought your old singer back and kept your new singer. Like nobody did that.
Yeah.
Just never know. It's like Queensryche. I grew up a big Queensryche fan, and when they lost Jeff Tate, I don't give a fuck about Queensryche. I don't listen to none of. And I know the new singer Todd LaTorre. He's great, and he does all the old Queensryche shit because he's young and he's great and all that. But some bands I won't give a second chance. Iron Maiden I did, and then there was like, Van Halen, they lose David Lee Roth, they get Van Hagar. That was weird because Van Hagar was just as big, if not bigger than Van Halen. I'm not sure on the numbers, but it was a totally different audience.
Yeah.
The Van Hagar and the Van Halen, the old school, two different worlds, but they're both giant, profitable worlds.
Yeah. You know, no, exactly. And I should say, like, when I say, like, you know, the lack of evolving, I think I'm speaking more about the message of what is the content of the lyrics. Do you know what I mean? Where, like, so we do experiment, like, with musically, we can get a little synth heavy, or we can experiment with some other instruments that we might not have had in early records. I think that, like, listen, there's no rules and everybody does things differently, but I think in terms of evolve, like, for us, we really pay attention to what we're trying to say and stand behind the message of what we're trying to say. And so, you know, I think that is what, you know, a lot of people come up to us and go, you know, I thought I was the only person that thought this way. I felt alone. I felt isolated, like an outsider. And then I heard the lyrics to your songs, and I realized that you're exactly explaining what I'm feeling. And so I think that the lyrical content and the message and what you're trying to say and what you're trying to stand for, I think, like, that is important in our world to stay constant with that. If you decide to put some electronic stuff or a different guitar sound, or, you know, bring in other instrumentation, we're not afraid to do that, you know, and you know, so that's kind of, you know, without like, you know, trying again, it's like, okay, so dubstep comes out. Well, we're not just going to, like, totally go dubstep for an era, but we might introduce some sort of interesting keyboard part that kind of leans towards that. Like, actually, our song Chalk Outline, I was actually super into Skrillex at the time. And if you listen to that song, it's kind of got these big, like, LFOs, which is like low frequency oscillation, like wow. And it's like, well, why not throw that in there? But the song is still like, hey, you left me behind, and, like, you know, and you just, like, drew me like a chalk outline, and just for the rain to wash away. And like, that was shitty of you to do. That's still, you know, literally keeping you down.
I've been cursed. I've been crossed. I've been beaten by the ones that get me off. I've been cut. I've been opened up. I've been shattered by the ones I thought I loved. You left me here like a chalk outline on the sidewalk, waiting for the rain to wash away. Wash away. You keep coming back to the scene of the crime, but the dead can't speak, and there's nothing left to say anyway. All you left behind is a chalk outline.
I Hate Everything About You was the first song I heard from you. That was like arguably your biggest or most impactful song.
Yeah. I can show you something. Sorry to interrupt, but I got to show you this, bro. I just got this, man. This is, there's only like, I just got this I just got that. It like showed up, dude. That's for I Hate Everything. A Billy. I got a Billy here, man. Yeah.
I hate it.
I'm going to drop it and break it here. What, dude?
Oh my God.
What's up, bro? Yeah, no, I mean, how we're lucky.
I'll be honest with you. I love that song. I had like this crazy synchronicity. I told Howard Benson about it on my podcast. Crazy synchronicity with I Hate Everything About You. There's like a special thing inside for me with that. But Never Too Late, that might be better. Like Never Too Late is so fucking good. That like the main opening guitar lick, that drop D thing you guys are doing.
This world will never be what I expected. And if I don't belong, who would have guessed it? I will not leave alone everything that I own to make you feel like it's not too late. It's never too late. Even if I say it'll be alright, still I hear you say you want to end your life. Now and again we try to just stay alive. Maybe we'll turn it around, 'cause it's not too late. It's never too late. No one will ever see this side reflected. And if there's something wrong, who would have guessed it? And I have left alone everything that I own to make you feel like it's not too late. It's never too late. Even if I say it'll be alright, still I hear you say you want to end your life. Now and again we try to just stay alive. Maybe we'll turn it around, 'cause it's not too late. It's never too late. The world we knew won't come back. The time we've lost can't get back. The life we had won't be ours again. This world will never be what I expected. And if I don't belong, even if I say it'll be alright, still I hear you say you want to end your life. Now and again we try to just stay alive. Maybe we'll turn it around, 'cause it's not too late. It's never too late. Maybe we'll turn it around, 'cause it's not too late. It's never too late. It's not too late. It's never too late.
If I had to pick which one, I think Never Too Late for me is it's hard to pick, but I like that one better. I mean,
Yeah. It touches on.
How did that song come about?
Adam actually really showed up with the nuts and bolts of that song. I mean, that was like, he kind of had it all.
When you first heard it at the studio and they said check this.
Yeah, he showed up with this.
You guys knew it was going to be the one? Did you guys know?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a really important song, but Adam just kind of showed up with that one and he's like, guys, and And, you know, and I remember like we tried it a bunch of different ways. One of the versions, actually, we had it tuned way down. So it was a lot lower. So the vocal register was a little bit lower, and then we brought it back up. And yeah, so the song, it was in D. It was like I think it was in B flat, what version that we had of it. But that song was really like, you know, the song that Adam walked it in and was like, guys, and we were like, absolutely, that is, you know, it was like, I mean,
was it in the studio that he first brought it out?
Yeah, I think so. It was like we were down in Los Angeles working with Howard. This is the first time we were working with Howard Benson, my partner. And you know,
he didn't have anything to do with "I Hate Everything About You." That was before Howard.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
When Howard took over, was it Never Too Late?
Yeah. Howard came in and produced 1X, which had like Animal I Become, it had Pain, it had Never Too Late, it had Riot, you know, which is like that record is like a fan favorite for sure. And it's like, it got us out of the one hit wonder club, you know what I mean? And like that was like really where we realized that this thing had some longevity. But yeah, it just, you know, it was funny because I remember our managers, we delivered, you know, Animal I Become, they're like, oh my God, that's a great lead off single. And then we delivered them like Never Too Late. And they're like, oh my God, guys. And then we had forgot to send them the song Pain, which ended up being the second single. And we were like, oh, there's this one too. He's like, dudes, we got a record on our hands.
Pain without love, pain. I can't get enough pain. I like it rough, 'cause I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. Of feeling numb, you're not the only one. I'll take you by the hand and I'll show you a world that you can understand. This life is filled with hurt when happiness doesn't work. Trust me and take my hand when the lights go out, you'll understand. Without love, I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. Without love, I can't get enough. I like it rough, 'cause I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. Anger and agony are better than misery. Trust me, I've got a plan. When the lights go up, you'll understand. Without love, I can't get enough. I like it rough, 'cause I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. Without love, I can't get enough. I like it rough, 'cause I'd rather feel pain than nothing. Rather feel pain. I know that you're wounded, that I'm here to save you. I'm always here for you. That you'll thank me later. Without love, can't get enough pain. I like it rough, 'cause I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. Without love, I can't get enough. I like it rough, 'cause I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. Without love, I can't get enough. I like it rough, 'cause I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. Rather feel pain.
just remember those days, man. Actually, we were in LA in the Valley. The studio was called Bay 7, and it's got 2 studios in it, just a little place, like kind of, just off, in the middle of nowhere in the Valley.
I'm in the Valley, in the middle of the Valley, in a studio.
Yeah, I was just there. I was just in Woodland Hills, man. But doing a record. But Tool was mixing 10,000 Days in the other studio. And I'm like, I worship Tool. I love Tool. Whoops, sorry. I absolutely love Tool. And it was like, and I wanted to try, I'm trying to be cool here, but like Danny Carey, who I think like is like probably my number 1 favorite drummer of all time. He'd show up in like a basketball uniform in a truck and bare feet. And then like I was smoking a joint at the time, and he's like, "Hey, can I hit that?" I'm like, "Yeah, Danny, for sure." And then after a while, I was like his weed smoking buddy. And I never told him like, "By the way, you're my favorite drummer of all time." I'm just like, "Hey, you want to smoke one, man?" He's like, "Yeah." It was pretty cool.
Crazy. And he knew that you guys, had heat too, right?
I don't really know if we were on their radar at all, but it didn't matter. We were just trying to like not fangirl, because like we're like, that's Tool, bro.
Tool is it seems like the formula to their music is like, let's make sure, rule number 1, that it's going to be super difficult to cover this song. Because Tool songs are, dude, if you don't know your shit, if you ain't on top of your shit, you ain't covering no Tool.
Oh man, time signatures, man, just like moving around time signatures, and but they do it it's mathematical and super muso, but they do it in a way that's like
still groovy.
Really classy and groovy. Yeah,
sounds simple, but it's not simple. It's super hard. Everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I love that band. And like you listen to the record, it sounds so huge, the Tool records, and then you just like realize that it's like drums, bass, guitar, 1 vocal. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, the songwriting dynamics of Tool is very interesting, and how that led to Maynard doing A Perfect Circle and then doing
Pussifer.
Yeah, because Tool, according to Maynard, Tool, he's not involved in the music at all. Like they don't let him really dictate the music. He just sings over it.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing stuff. But A Perfect Circle, he has some veto power with the music. Pete Howard is awesome. He's a friend of mine. He writes all the music, but Maynard has some say in the music.
Yeah.
And it's a little more, I would say A Perfect Circle is a little more melodic and a tad more towards the, not commercial at all. I mean, the Hollow's not commercial, like Perfect Circle's not commercial, but a tad more commercial. It's like a commercial version of Tool, but still not commercial.
What I think is probably the best knee slice in the game, it's called a row drag. Super simple, awesome combo. Before we get to the truck, throw a little pass on top of that. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get really good at that truck transition. How about you get really ninja with the row drag? The knee slice. Push him down, butterfly, boom, bam, boom. Here, and then the fishnet, knee to the stomach, low handle, break the frames, and then boom. Pull this out, grab my forearm, pop, pop. That's all the best shit from Twister Side Control right there in one throw. You guys want to go back and forth a little bit? Ready? Let's go.
Oh, I know. It's incredible. And he's got he's got this successful winery, he's like, he's a jiu-jitsu guy, right? I mean, he's like,
the crazy thing is he's a jiu-jitsu guy, been a jiu-jitsu guy forever. I've been a jiu-jitsu guy forever. We've never met. We've never talked. We have friends, like Danny Loader is one of my best friends. He and Maynard, they know each other. He used to be in Nine Inch Nails and he worked with Maynard. They were, he knows everybody, Danny. But I never met Maynard. I would love him to have him on my podcast. I DM'd him on Instagram and say, yo, I would love to have Like, why haven't we met yet?
Yeah. No, it's just, there's an element of, it's like the real deal mystery and danger, which is rock and roll. That's rock. It's like, and the concepts that they tackle with all of his lyric writing is like really deep stuff. The only, and he kind of takes on stage, he's kind of sat back in there. He's not like that front man right up in the front all the time. But
he's in the shadows.
Yeah, he's in the shadows. However, when Perfect Circle first came out, they played a gig in Toronto, and it was crazy because it was like a club, and we were there. Adam and I went, and Maynard was wearing an adult diaper with battery powered Christmas lights on it, right up front stage. And I was like, "This is the craziest show I've ever seen." But I think that's the only time I've ever seen him, and we happened to see him in person, that he's ever got typical front man at front of the stage.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I saw him. There was at the Staples Center in LA, which is where the Lakers. I don't know if they still play there, but it's a huge arena. And there was a video game award show, or it was huge. It was packed. Staples Center was packed. 19,000 people packed. And it was some kind of video game show. And they had Maynard as part of they had all these special guests and all these different little routines going on in between the video game stuff. And Maynard came out and covered Bohemian Rhapsody.
Wow.
And he fucking smashed it. He fucking crushed it by himself. It was incredible. I remember being blown the fuck away. I mean, the talent that guy has in his voice and his his lyrics, his vocal melody, preparations. Dude.
Yeah, and actually, there's the the Aussie tribute show that happened recently. There's not a lot of footage of Tool performing live, because they're just and I know when they play a show, they don't really like people sitting there with their cameras. I get it. It's man, sometimes it's a drag when you're playing in front of a crowd and everybody's documenting themselves at the show. You're just why don't you just watch the show? Are you gonna but I get it. It's everybody kind of wants to show their friends that they were there and their friends were not, or whatever that shit is. We can get into there if we want, but this recording, I think it's called Back to the Beginnings. Wasn't that was the Aussie tribute concert? Go on, check that out. it's a nice glimpse into a band that's super like clandestine sometimes, but you just realize, man, these guys are like just the best. They're the best players and the best, vibes.
So crazy. It's like you're talking about how complex Tool is. It just, were you a big Neil Peart fan?
Sure. Absolutely, man.
God damn. He's from Canada, right?
Yeah. No, I know. I'm like,
is he the reason you got into playing drums?
one of them. My brother, like huge Rush fan. I learned about Moving Pictures, the album, and Tom Sawyer and YYZ. By the way, YYZ is the airport code for Toronto Airport, if anyone is interested in that. But yeah, man, I'm my name's Neil, and I'm a drummer from Canada, but I'm not the main one. It's spelled the same, which is cool. But actually, it's cool to see. They're going back out on the road this year with which is
drummer. I'm sorry.
Chick drummer.
Like Linkin Park. The chick singer. Neil Rush came back with a chick drummer, right?
Yeah. And I get it. I respect it. It's like, if you've been doing it for so long, you realize that it like kind of is your purpose. Like it's a big part of you to get back on stage and do what you know and do like, so, I don't know. Some people will be like, oh, Rush isn't Rush without Neil Peart, whatever. Like, man, those guys, you got to realize when you wake up every day and that's your purpose is to be those people on stage. Why would you stop? I think about that a lot. Like, what does retiring mean? Just to stop doing all the things that I'm used to doing every day that serves my own purpose? Like,
you got to keep going. Just like when Lane Staley died, and Chains. Eventually, you keep going. He's dead. Let's get a replacement. So the replacement seems like he's a lot easier to accept. You're like, we would get the original back, but he's not alive. So
I know.
The best we could do.
Yeah, and you get, I'm sure that you get a lot of heat. Like, when Adam left, he was still alive, obviously, when he is still alive today. But like, people are like, it's like, this isn't what I expected. It's like, well, but this is our lives, and this is like our purpose. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do if I'm not going out on the road, in a month to go play 3 days Grace shows. What else am I going to do? Like, there's a lot of stuff I like to do, but like, if you just take away someone's like purpose and their routine to the thing that they love the most, it's like, you got to just let people live their own lives.
People complain about that shit.
The
only thing the only complaining that I agree with are when, bands get too old and they're like 80. I fucking love the first 4 Van Halen albums. Love them. But David Lee Roth, you should be just hanging out and just chilling. Have you seen David Lee Roth? Like, whoa, I love that guy. You don't need to keep going. You could just hang out. You're good. You get all them royalty checks. You don't have to keep going. And that's the crazy thing. Is like, it's like the music industry. Now we know from history, if you blow up and have a couple, 2, 3 successful albums, you're probably going to go down and people are going to get sick of you. But you hang out, survive, chill out, have some kids, and then you're going to come back. Boom.
Yeah.
Then when you come back, that ends too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, like Kiss, they had like 5 reunion tours, and then at the end, it went really bad. Paul Stanley lost his voice. He started lip syncing. It's all over the internet. He's lip syncing. His voice is gone. Yo, at some point, you got to stop before the voice. Once the voice goes out permanently, you got to dip. Right?
Yeah. I think when you lose your chops and like the ability to do, and that goes for anything, not just music, but anything. I mean, there's a certain point where you want access
that you can take it to like 70, right? Because you can't do that in football. You can't do that.
Exactly.
Like hockey, once you're 32, you're done. Right?
You're done.
But music, you can take that shit to your 60s easy.
Yeah.
60s easy. 70s. What kind of pace did you set? Like Axl Rose, he set an incredible pace because that first album, he was screaming. And now it's hard to keep up with those screams,
Yeah.
You got guys like Bob Dylan who set the pace low. You know what I mean? So he could be like, Like Willie Nelson. Shit, he could come until he's 120.
Yeah.
He wasn't screaming.
Exactly.
Guitar, so you got to be careful how you come out.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said about like in your own, like, for quality control, for your own integrity and stuff. But I guess it's music, so there's no right answer. It's like everyone can do what they want, and if there's an audience to experience it, then like teach their own. But yeah, I agree with you in that, like, you want to put your best foot forward. You want to leave the right legacy.
Luckily, you don't have to worry about that for another 25 years.
Yeah, do some push-ups after this, and maybe drink some water.
You look like you're 22 years old.
I think I pickled myself on the inside. I think alcohol is a preservative, but I went through that whole thing. For me, it was, I got to the point where I, not to get too deep right now, but I was starting to self-medicate with alcohol, and I was running from a lot of shit. And then you get sick of being sick, and you get sick of running. Everything's escapism. Yeah. And some people just, that's everywhere. You go smoke a cigarette, or you go fucking have a Zyn or whatever. You're trying to just change the chemistry in your brain to escape from the present moment that you're not completely comfortable with. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I think like the bands that stick around, the artists that stick around, they kind of, that's that thing where you kind of like have to face it and go, what am I running from? I should not run from it. Embrace it, face it. If it's anxiety, if it's like panic, loss, depression, whatever that is, it's like, stop running. And
was there anybody in your band that never drank, never did drugs?
No, we all kind of went through our own cycle. Yeah. 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 Well, you get sick of making yourself sick, or you don't. I did.
Once I figured out that my bad sleep was because of the eating at night and having drinks at night.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time I would I teach jujitsu. That's how I make my money. And then after we're done and we clean the gym, I have a music room at my gym, and we fucking karaoke. We're playing songs, and and we're just having fun, having a couple of drinks, and we might drive home and go through a drive-through. And my sleep was always fucked up. I would always wake up like at 4:30 in the morning, and I couldn't go back to sleep till like 8, and it was just. Once I realized that it was the drinks I was having, because now I don't drink or eat at night at all. Sleep is amazing.
A couple of I'm on the CPAP now. I got the sleep apnea. I was dying when I was sleeping. So now, hey man, it's a life change. Anyone out there that thinks, I don't want to sleep with it. I actually got away with just like this thing, where I where I can just have, it's a really good look. It's a great look. I can send you a photo, but it changed my life because I wasn't getting enough oxygen in my blood when I was sleeping, and I was kind of micro dying through the night. But now I got CPAP. But like, two things that I kind of learned through just like stopping vodka for me was, you're borrowing happiness from tomorrow.
Yeah.
And boredom is a gift. I used to hate boredom because like you get up on stage, you get that thrill, that overload of just, it's not like, it's different from being in a hockey game because you never lose when you're on stage. It's like you always win and everybody cheers. Yeah. So that thrill and that like dopamine thing, you just get used to that. That becomes your new norm.
Do you want to drink after or during or before?
Before, during, after. In the meantime, I had my share, your share, her share, his share.
I'm sure you had shows where you drank a little too much before and you were fucked up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. It's just, it's a slippery slope. And the one thing I never, I'll still like, I do believe in like, like cannabis and psilocybin to actually be like if you find what's right for you, to be like, it's more medicine than it is a party drug. But I could never get on stage after smoking a joint. That's when it's like, I was like, cause like the booze is a bit of liquid courage.
Wait a minute. So you wouldn't smoke weed before the show?
No, never. Because I get in my own head.
Now you were saying you were drinking before, because like Ace Frehley, the guitar player for Kiss, is known as super drunk, alcoholic, cokehead. He had a lot of problems, and that was his main problem Kiss, and then he left, he quit, a lot of problems. But one thing he said, same thing with Chris Holmes, guitar player for Wasp. He was known as a total drunk and just drug addict, but they both said they didn't drink before the show because if it would hurt way too much if they just sucked and they fucked up a song, that it hurt way too much that they wouldn't even drink before the show. That's what Chris Holmes said. He goes, I never show because I did a couple times and I played like shit, and that was way worse feeling than anything else. So
yeah. Well, I just found, I mean, the liquid courage thing, like I said, but also like it kind of knocks out the consequence part of your prefrontal cortex a few drinks, and then you're a little bit less afraid. I guess, you know, I have a history of anxiety, you know, like everybody else. And so you knock that little bit of consequence off and you just go, I'm good. And maybe it's a drummer thing too, because it's like full body. It's not as intricate as like maybe someone that's like a shredder on guitar. It's big body movements. And when you're unafraid, then like, you're less hesitant. Sometimes when I get, drumming for me is like when I think about a part too much, you hesitate. And as soon as you hesitate, that's when shit start. You get we call it getting the yips. Oh, you know, like Charles Barkley's golf swing. You know, but like I always found like a little. You know, I would never go up on stage like wrecked and stumbling like ever. You know, never. But like. Yeah, I kind of just felt like I needed that little bit of like, it's all going to be great. Watch this. Here we go. But smoking weed does the opposite. And instead of knocking it, for me, instead of knocking out the consequent part, it's like stuff in the back of your head goes right to the front. You're like, man, maybe I'm not a great drummer. Like there's so many drummers out there. They're so much better than me. This is what's going on while I'm playing a show, dude.
Anxiety, weed causes anxiety for me.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, it does for me still.
Yeah, playing live, like I don't smoke weed before I play live.
No, man.
But I smoke weed every time before we jam and during the jam.
Sure. Yeah.
When there's no pressure, I'm gonna get blazed, and I'm better when I'm stoned. But the fact that there's an anxiety factor in a live show, now it could turn on you.
Oh yeah. You start the show going like, maybe I suck. By the end of the show, you're like, I completely suck. I don't even fucking deserve to be here. Look at that drummer. He's watching me right now. He's so much better than me. That's what weed does to me.
But you know what? If you smoke like halfway through the set, I bet when you're on fire and everything's going good, you take a little hit.
Yeah.
I bet that's good though, right?
I'm a lightweight. I like with weed, I still have a puff or two, but I'm like a one puff guy.
Me too. I think I'm like this. I'm like Cheech and Chong, but I don't smoke as much as people do. I do. Reputation. But okay, so now Never Too Late. That's your biggest hit though, right? No, or is it still I hate everything about
Everything But You is in the Billy Club at Spotify, but Animal I Become is on its way there, and Never Too Late, I mean, it's a fan favorite. That's one of the songs where people say like, that song actually saved my life. Like, I mean, it's
one of the greatest choruses of all time. I mean, really, that really is. That chorus, I never skip that song. When it pops up, I skip a lot of songs. I'll never skip that song. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, that's really one of Adam's, like, you know, babies. He walked in and it was just like so inspired by his life and
now
what he was going through.
Now you got your last album. It's only been one album where you had two singers, right?
That's right.
And the first single was Mayday, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the first single? That's a good song. What was the second single?
Second single was Apologies.
Okay.
And that song was kind of one of my babies, you know, that I brought into the band, and we 3 days Gracified it. And, you know, it kind of started out a little, you know, some of the guys were like, is this a little too poppy? I'm like, no, when we get on it and we do our thing on it, it's just the message is there. Like, you know, it's kind of, that song is like really about going like, I see all the love. I recognize that you guys are trying to help me, but right now I feel too far gone to save.
When every thought says jump, when every thought says just give up, how else can I survive another day of being alive? Caffeine caffeine, nicotine, amphetamines running through my bloodstream. Trauma, trauma, another vodka turned into a monster. Damage, baggage, turn savage, do it every day. Call it a habit, you want problems. I got 'em, keep on sinking, never hit bottom. All the love you tried to get to me was never enough. No, I'm sorry, but no amount of love can ever be ever enough, ever enough. I'm sorry, but when every thought says run, when I can stand to be someone who's done the things I've done, I'll blame it all on being young. Caffeine, nicotine, amphetamines running through my bloodstream. Trauma, trauma, another vodka turned into a monster. Damage, baggage, turn savage, do it every day. Call it a habit, you want problems. I got 'em, keep on sinking, never hit bottom. All the love you tried to give to me was never enough. No, I'm sorry, but no amount of love can ever be ever enough, ever enough. I'm sorry, but there's no saving me. I'm sorry, all apologies. All the love you tried to give to me was never enough, never enough. I'm sorry, but I'm holding anger like a hammer, leaving all the lovely pressure. I'm so ashamed I can't erase it. Nothing you can do is ever gonna change it. Let me hear you. Let me see your hands up. Come on. All the love you tried to give to me was never enough. Come on. No amount of love could ever be ever enough, ever enough. I'm sorry, but there's no saving me. I'm sorry, all apologies. All the love you tried to give to me was never enough, never enough. I'm sorry, but
I felt like that a lot in my life.
Like, I mean, how do we explain to people that, like, people that don't have anything successful in their life, they kind of have a reason to feel like that. But you have had so much success in the music business. Explain how you can still feel as hell. Like, how does that
Sure. All of our brains are like chemical soup. So, you know, I mean, look at people that have done amazing things that still feel like shit or feel desperate. Like, anxiety will cripple you, man. And like, I consider depression sometimes, and I'm making broad strokes. I'm not a fucking psychiatrist, but like, sometimes I feel like depression is just anger and anxiety that's gotten exhausted. You know what I mean? And you know, you're anxious. You're kind of scared about the future. You're angry that you're scared, and you're tired of being scared, which makes you angry. And all of that gets exhausted, and you can become depressed. And that can happen to anybody, man. Anybody. Doesn't matter what level you're at, whatever measured success by your peers. That feeling is like real for me. You know, like, you know, I have some PTSD from stuff that happened when you know, my parents died young and stuff, and I'm not like, you know, it's not a like a, you know, a violin here, but I didn't realize that, like, I had a fear of loss, and I still do. Like, and I have teenage kids now, and I'm not afraid of dying, but I'm afraid of them getting the bad phone call that I got. You know, and that can, you know, and I started walking around like a ticking time bomb. I'm like, and then you're like, you know, why does anything matter if I'm just going to like drop dead? Like, because that's what I saw when I was young. So that's no way to live. And you're like, and so that's fear. And then you get angry that you're fearful all the time, and then you get tired of all that shit, and then you can get depressed. So I guess, I don't know if that answers your question, but it doesn't have to do with your success or the money or the fame or anything like that. You can go down that line of not being okay, going through the motions. You get pissed off at yourself because everyone's looking at you. You're like, man, you're living the dream. You're like, yeah, I am, but I feel like shit, and I feel almost guilty for feeling like shit while I'm living the dream. You know, and all that shit's in the lyrics, man.
And how old were you when your parents passed?
I was 6 when my dad died, and I was 20 when my mom died. And yeah, it was dirty. But you know, I don't know. It's just and again, our brains are chemical soup, and like I've had to do a lot of work to like not walk around like a ticking time bomb. You know what I mean? Like going like, well, that's what happened to them, so it's just a matter of time when it happens to me. And then you get in that loop and you're like, well, what does anything matter then? And like, that is no way to live. I've had to actually like do the work, proactive work, to go, I'm not going to live like that. I don't know what the future holds. Those people, like, yeah, they're my parents, but that's what happened to them, not me. And I'll control what I can control, and then like not ruminate on the what ifing. If you sit around and what if all day, it'll make you sick, bro.
How did your dad pass?
Dropped dead of a heart attack at 37. So, you know, I'm a man that's 10 years older than my father ever was. You know, and then my mom had, you know, she had cancer and stuff like that. But like, that doesn't mean that that's my future. But I had to like really dig in and realize that that's not my life. My life is what it is now. The future's unknown. But if I sit there and what if my life away, then I'm going to make myself sick. And then the booze takes the edge off of that desperate feeling of that. And then, but then it gives you it like booze gives you whatever it like numbs out in the short term. It like piles on literally the next day.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like ecstasy.
Anxiety, bro. Anxiety is a real thing. It's like, yeah, you're just, like I said earlier, you're fucking borrowing happiness from tomorrow. And so, yeah, I just had to like, and I'm not out of the woods yet with that shit, but I'm much more educated. I have tools for when I start going down that road. I kind of go, hey, Neil, you're doing that again. You're sitting in this spot. Not the best way, but one of the ways I can explain it is that there's this big dark box with all that shit in it, right? I used to be in the box with that, and like the walls are up around me and there's no way out, and I just feel like a ticking time bomb. Now the box is over there. It's not going anywhere. I got to go and look in the box and visit it sometime, but I'm not in the box. You know, that's, yeah.
I'm not in the box. That sounds like a song.
Yeah. Yeah.
A song of hope.
Yeah, man. I saw this. I was really inspired by this interview with James Hetfield from Metallica, and you know, he was kind of going like when he was drinking hard, he kind of knew how the night was going to end up every night. You kind of know, like, okay, I'm going to go through here. I'm chasing something that I can't run from. I know that deep down, but I'm going to numb it out anyways. And you know what's going to happen next. Right? Because you're afraid of the unknown. And then when he got sober, he realized, like, I don't know what's going to happen next. And that becomes not frightening, but more exciting. You know, like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, for me, drinking just kills my sleep. And
yeah,
man, I sleep so well now. Oh my God.
Oh man. You get the CPAP, you get that oxygen that, you know, by the way, anyone that doesn't know, CPAP stands for constant positive air pressure, right? Yeah. And so it's just sitting there. It's ready to fill up your lungs with life's gas, which is air. and you basically wake up with more oxygen in your blood the next day. And that's what you need, because and snoring is kind of the first step of that, where you're kind of, what happens is a little muscle relaxes in the back of your throat when you're sleeping, and it'll relax so much that it's blocking airways, which is what you hear with people that snore. But then the next level of that is it kind of like blocks it off, and then your brain starts to like forget that it needs to breathe in. And so the CPAP just makes it so that the air is right there for you to embrace. It pretty much saved my life.
I went to the medical clinic and they did the test on me. They hooked me up with all their shit. The test concluded that I did have sleep apnea, and but I know at first I was sleeping with like this mouthpiece, and I kept sleeping out.
It's nasty. It's nasty at first.
I couldn't hang with it, man. I couldn't.
I know. Yeah.
Now I notice you have guitars hanging in the background. You're a drummer.
Yeah.
But you're also a songwriter and producer, right? You're producing Alien Ant Farm? Is that?
Yeah, I just got back from Los Angeles. I was probably down the road from you. I should have looked you up last week, but yeah, I'm producing Alien Ant Farm, which is their new records coming out on my label Judge and Jury. You know, and we've been like throwing the ball around with Hoobastank, and you know, I just love doing that. It like exercises this muscle that I need to, you know, to like create and like cook stuff up and turn the screws and then throw it in the air and see if it flies. And I get to do that with 3 Days Grace, but you know, we only put a record out every 3 years or so. So that allows me to, you know, to just keep going on that and no rules.
There's a bunch of different versions of a record producer. Like a record producer could be just a guy that financed everything. A record producer could be a guy that doesn't play any instruments, but like kind of like steers and directs melodies. And there's also record producers like Bob Ezrin, who are talented musicians and compose a lot of the songs. What is your role as a producer for Alien?
So I am a really good cheerleader and team coordinator, and like I'm good at like I like high-fiving and creating the excitement in the room and make everybody feel like their ideas are valid. There's no like, so that, because again, I'm all about, if we're gonna make something, check the ego at the door. Whether you came up with it, I came up with it, I said something that inspired you to come up with it. The most important person in that room is the song, is the message. And so I can, you know, kind of like just get the guys to trust me. I'm in a band too. So it's like, I'm not going to, you know, I think there's that trust where I'm like, I'm a band guy too. And it's all about the person feeling comfortable sharing the idea so that it becomes a really collaborative thing and it's fun. So, as soon as it's too serious, I'm out the door. Or soon as like someone's like, I'm the one singing it, or I'm the one playing the guitar, so the idea needs to come from me, I'm out the door. You know what I mean? And but I need a team. Like I have our go-to engineer, Mike Plotnikoff, who like he engineered Aerosmith Get a Grip. I mean, talk about massive hit records. And he's been Howard Benson's guy for a long time. So he is like, he's the one.
He was at your show in Ontario.
Yeah. He's just, you know, legendary. If you look up Mike Plotnikoff, look at how many records he's worked on. I know that I'm in good hands when he sets up the microphones for the right guitar amp and the right, you know, moment. And then I'm the one that keeps it like lighthearted where, dude, I don't give a fuck if you screw up. We got all day. There's no rules. Yeah. You know, this isn't like brain surgery. We're making songs. If you're feeling off today, we'll fucking cut out early. We'll start again tomorrow. Like that, creating that environment of a comfort zone, and that, which like, I think the records just get better when you do that. And I'm also, if it's out of tune, I'm going to be on you. Like, you know, but it's got to be in like, you know,
you got perfect pitch.
I don't have perfect pitch, but I just like, I've been in situations where it's all happening so fast and everyone's recording everything. And then like, it's like been working late and then you go to sleep, you wake up the next day and you're like, fuck, everything we did was out of tune, you know, or, and like there, you know, there are technologies now that can like auto tune and all that shit. But when it comes to guitar chords, you know, so that, you know, I'm always kind of like, hey, you look like you sound great, but you're out of tune. But like, there's a lot of factors. If someone went and hit the air conditioning in the studio, that'll throw all the guitars out of tune. So I'm paying attention to that. So it's kind of like that thing. So I guess I'm that type of producer that just, I want to be laughing.
Put it on 68.
Yeah.
Put it on 68. I have it on 71, mother.
Dude, you'd be surprised, man. The guitar, because it'll just, I mean, it's like a stringed instrument. It'll just like the wood changes a bit and the metal changes a bit. And then like we're all fucking out of tune.
So how's that album coming out?
It's good, man. Yeah, these guys are pros, like, and
super. Podcast like 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah, man. I was talking to Dryden today, the singer, and he was like, "Oh, I had a great time. I had a great experience with Eddie when we were on the thing, and they were in person, right? Like they were there in the room.
No, I don't think it was in person.
Was a, you know, but he just said it was like, it was a, you know, it was killer. And, they're like, they know, you know, I love a band that's been around long enough. They also know who they are. Right. And like, so as a producer, I come in and go like, I'm going to just kind of, I'm not instill, but suggest my sensibilities that would like, you know, but there's some bands that go, listen, I don't want to sound like 3 Days Grace. I'm like, okay, all right. You know, fine. You know, you got to know when to back off and let them be them and try to like help them bring out the best version of what they have. You know, so.
To make the album, do you have to be there the whole time? Take a month, 2 months? Like what is the process?
So that's always been a moving target, and COVID actually like really sort of adjusted what the possibilities can be. To answer that question, back in the day, with 3 Days Grace, we would hole up in a studio for 6 weeks, but we would already kind of have the songs pretty cooked up.
Yeah.
And, a lot of, you know, we have this thing, I have so many folders that say CFT, which is the campfire test. So that I don't care how fucking heavy and metal this song's going to be. I want someone to pick up one guitar, play it, and sing it. And if we feel something, then we're on the right track, because you can, you know, if you can add all kinds of stuff and it sounds huge and heavy, but the campfire test is like, what is this song? Is it engaging? Is it believable? Are these lyrics like actually like what you're saying? Are you reading off a page, or are you like living and dying on that microphone right now? You know, so that's the process. So now we tend to try to have we've done the campfire test with these songs before we get into the studio.
That's
a big one for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Writing on acoustic is the easiest way, actually, because you can just have an acoustic in your living room and you're just playing it, and then vocal melodies and vocal hooks.
Yeah.
You don't know when they're going to come up, you know?
Yeah. And the concept.
You know what I mean?
Like, you know, yeah, like, and this is just my process. Like there's tons, there's no real rule, but I like to, like, when I hear a song, I like to kind of know what it's about. Do you know what I mean? But some of my favorite songs are songs where I have no idea what it's about. So it's not like cut and dry. Yeah. But the stuff that I make, I'm like, what is this about?
Yeah. There's people, I've had arguments with people like, you know, there's people that are like, oh, dude, lyrics are the most important thing. That's the number one thing, lyrics. And I'm like, I'm going to disagree with you. I think you think lyrics are the most important thing, but vocal melodies are the most important thing. You're just getting them confused, because most of my favorite songs, I have no fucking idea what they're.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like Smashing Pumpkins, one of my favorite bands. Most of those fucking songs are so vague and abstract. I don't know what Cherub Rock is about, you know, exactly. And Disarm. Now I know what it's about, because I've heard interviews about what Disarm's about, but for like 20 years I didn't know what it was about. But
yeah,
Roberta Flack, who I know no songs from, but I just know this quote. Roberta Flack said, "It's not what you say, it's how you say it."
Yeah.
That always stuck with me.
Dude, people will smell bullshit if you're on the microphone and you're reading the lyrics off your phone. Okay. It's more important than what you're saying. But people can smell, and it's just a human thing. I think we do it subconsciously. We can tell if that whatever's coming out of the vocalist's mouth, whether they're living and dying and believing and committing and submitting to whatever they're saying. You can tell, as opposed to just like reading a sheet.
The lyrics are very important to me, but I understand that vocal melodies are the most important. And when but you can't have an amazing vocal melody unless the music's amazing.
Sure.
So people, like, I have arguments with people like, oh no, the lyrics are the most important. And I'm like, you think that, but really the music is the most important thing, because without the music, you can't have the golden vocal melodies.
Yeah.
Without the vocal melodies, people aren't even going to listen to the words anyways. If the song's shitty, you could have this amazing story that was real, that actually happened to you, and it was so traumatic. But if the music sucks and the you can't have good vocal melodies over shitty music, no one's going to hear the lyrics anyways. But on the reverse, you could have like maybe lyrics that don't even mean shit, but the music is so good and the vocal melody, the way you say it, is so good that you don't even know what is Stairway to Heaven about. No one even knows what fucking is about. Like, what is that about? No one knows. They're like, oh, the lyrics are the most important. Lyrics. I believe in lyrics. I believe in a real human experience. That's why when people talk about AI is going to take over music. I'm like, listen, just because AI can write its own lyrics and own music don't mean shit. Kids can write songs. Kids write poems. Songs are easy. Anybody can fucking write songs. They're like, AI's writing songs. They're writing songs that you'll put on repeat. That's possible. That's what we're looking for. A song that you're going to put on repeat, and it got you in a trance, and you're driving around the block. You don't even want to park because you want to hear the song again and again and again. AI can't do that.
No.
Lyrics. Kids can write lyrics. AI can write songs. Anybody can fucking write a song. There's a zillion musicians out there that can write songs, but they ain't writing. Like, AI will never write a song. Will never write a song that I put on repeat. Will never fucking happen.
No. You know, that makes me think of the importance of negative space in the music, where the band knows when not to play, and that's an ebb and flow, where like you leave room.
Let it breathe.
If everyone's just playing all the time, the breathe.
But don't challenge the wave, ride the wave.
Yeah, and like if it's time for the vocals, it's also sometimes time for the band to pull back and not play anything, because that negative space. I mean, Led Zeppelin, they were geniuses at negative space, man. You know, just pull back and like not play because it's not your time. And that kind of like minimal. And again, I'm a big fan of minimalism. You know, in certain moments where sometimes our best thing to do, our best asset in the studio is the mute button.
Yes.
Get rid of stuff to let the other thing ebb and flow, and then you can poke in and feature things, and then it becomes more of a listener's experience where you just have the push and pull of like pressure and release and tension and release.
You have peaks and valleys. You can't have it's got peaks and valleys. You got to know when to dip in and dip out.
Absolutely, dude.
Come from when I was a teenager, I was a drummer in speed metal bands, and we did the most complex bullshit ass speed metal. I was always trying to impress musicians with my songwriting ability. I played drums, but I played the riffs too, and along with my other guitar player too. But because I wasn't the guy that wanted to shred on drums and become the ultimate and learn how to play all these fucking crazy paradiddles, I just wanted to rock out. But I needed to make up for my lack of virtuosity with my song structure and arrangements. I'd write 9-minute songs, 12-minute songs. We were out of control. And then I got sick of the speed metal, sold my drums, decided I was going to do an industrial rap, complex odd meter band. Linkin Park, but cool created Linkin Park. I was so, I was writing rap songs, odd meter. I have songs that are in incredible time signatures. I was all about that throughout the 90s. I was doing complex fucking, and then I started smoking weed when I was 27, and I realized that I was a piece of fucking shit. Trying to impress everybody with all these, so insecure, trying to impress everybody with these time signatures. Like that's why I loved Alice in Chains so much, because everything was like they were doing vocal hooks in 3/4 and all these crazy odd time signatures. And then once I started smoking weed, I started playing acoustic guitar when I'm 27, and then I made a complete 180. simple vocal melody. And I began to realize, like, dude, don't try to impress people with all these fucking riffs. Find one you'll be lucky if you have one riff that they want to hear over and over again. You're claiming 17 riffs in the song. You're lucky you'll even have one. You're going to have people sit through 9 minutes of this bullshit. I realized I had this epiphany, like, oh my God, I'm a retard. Everything became about the vocal melody. Everything became about the chord progression.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. Oh, I walked into this studio one time I was working in, and there was like a just a 2-frame like comic, cartoon thing. And it was like right there. It was kind of like a message to the drummers walking into that studio. And it just showed this drummer that was just like this, right? And the producer's looking over him, and the producer goes, "You're amazing." And then the next frame is the drummer just going 2 and 4. And the producer says, "You're hired."
Yeah.
I loved it.
Stupid. That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
Music like weed, right? You could never, like the weed and the bud are the lyrics in the vocal marrow. No. The bud are the lyrics in the vocal marrow. But you can never have high level bud vocal melody without that soil being perfect, right? So the soil is the music. There's no way you're going to have perfect bud without the perfect music. It's impossible to have a vocal melody that you want to hear over and over again when the music is vanilla. The music ain't shit. The music has got to stand alone on its own with no vocal melodies, no lyrics. The music alone you want to hear over and over again. That's when you know you're on the right track, when just the instrumental, just the music is good enough. Then when you add the vocal melody, then boom, it takes it to another dimension.
And by the way, doesn't that weed plant have to be a female to get high, right? The male plants.
I don't know the specifics, but it's something like that. I know there's
so you got to bring in the like, you can't just be like all testosterone, like, I hate. That's why when we were writing I Hate Everything About You, it was like, well, we need to put some love in here somewhere, or else we're going to have an all male audience. And like, that's not good. That's 50%. We're just taking off the table.
Once I started smoking weed and simplified my whole philosophy on music, I started producing music for chicks. There's 3 different projects that I've produced, like more than 10 songs each project with female singers, all different, all, a different, style, not style, but style, but a different dynamic when in regards to producing a singer. Cause some singers, like the first singer I produced, the first female singer I produced, Gina, she can write lyrics all day. She can freestyle. I got 11 new songs today. She can write all day. She was like Eminem, just freestyling and writing, but she didn't know how to compose a song and how to arrange vocal melodies and, create like, okay, here's the verse, here's the pre-chorus, here's the chorus. You're going to sing like, she didn't know any of that. She would just freestyle everything, but I loved it because at least I didn't I'm not that prolific when it comes to lyrics. I write lyrics, but I can't write for all these projects. So it's always good when the singer comes in and writes their lyrics because the fans want to know that it's better for the fans that they know the singer wrote the lyrics. It's always better. It doesn't have to be that way, and they don't have to know, and some people don't care, but that's always best. So that was Gina. She wrote all the lyrics. I just arranged them. The second chick I worked with was a girl named Miranda. She was an amazing singer, pianist, and she had her own band. She wrote all her own songs. So not only did she write her own lyrics, but she knew how to arrange shit. So I'm like, I just brought the music. I directed a little of the vocal melodies, but she was so good at it. I'm like, damn, she would just sing over the music that I brought. So I provided the music. She sang over it. And then there was another one, Drea. She had no interest in writing lyrics or vocal melodies. She didn't want to know anything about music theory, but she could sing her fucking ass off and knew how to put, harmonies all over everything. So what I did, I used her. I wrote all the lyrics, put together the vocal arrangements, and then she would sing. So every singer got a different dynamic in regards to how you put songs together, coming from a producer's perspective.
Well, that's the thing is like I try to always be a sponge because you're going to learn something from you just spend one day or a couple hours in the studio with someone that you haven't before. You're like, oh, that's their processes. So I'm going to I find that I'm going to without even thinking about it, the next time I work on anything, I kind of saw it they allowed me to see it from a different perspective on how they approach the process. That's like what it's all about. And that's not just music, I'm sure with fighting, with jiu-jitsu, it's like you see a guy, you're like, oh, I never thought that you could do it that way, but I'm going to use 5% of the way that they do it the next time that I do it. Do you know what I mean?
No, totally. Oh, that happens all the time in jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is so vast. I learned something last night that I've never seen before, and something today that I've never seen before. Today and last night. It's jiu-jitsu's endless, and music is endless. The lyrics, the words are what really change one song from the next, because most songs, in regard to pop songs, when you strip everything down to the bass note progression, the basic chord progression, it's all been done a million times.
Sure.
How many times you're going to go A minor to C to G?
Yeah, man.
A million songs have done that.
The paths are well worn for a reason because they work.
Yeah, guitar chords are similar to drum beats. You're not going to pick up a new drum beat unless you're Tool. They can make new drum beats, but regular commercial music, it's not about you got to come up with an original drum beat. It's either or I mean, there's only so many. Which one are you going to use that's already been used a million times? Not which one are you going to originally come up with. Drums, it's not like that. It's like which of the drum beats that already exist. Which ones are you going to use, right? So guitar chords are similar to that, but not quite, but similar, because there's E to C to G. That's one song. How about D to E to C? That's another song. How about F, C, A? That's another song. There's only so many chord progressions. So what makes songs different from one another is how you layer each one of them. Each layer of music has been done a million times, but the way you layer it, that's what makes it unique. And then the actual words you put on, because we're all using the same language. There's 17 trillion conversations going on right this second, but not one is exactly the same. And yet we're using the same words. We're using the same words. I'm using the same. There's no original words coming out of my mouth, but there's no other conversation that's coming out like this right now.
Yeah. You know what trips me out? We were talking about that. You know what trips me out, man, is kind of what you're saying here is Shazam, right? Shazam. Okay. So you can be in a bar, right? Or a club or a coffee shop or whatever. And there's people talking, there's conversation going on over here. There's some commotion over here. There's just noise in the room. And there's a speaker that's 15 feet away playing some sort of song. And you can go to this app and you hit Shazam and you go, hey, what song is that? And it tells you in 5 seconds.
I do that all the time.
That blows my mind. It's this digital fingerprint. And like you say, you go to a piano, there's I don't have one right. Well, I got one here, but there's only 11 buttons to choose from. You got C, C sharp, D, D sharp. It's like that. And then it repeats itself. Yep. And then the combination of all that, which has been done that's music itself a gazillion times, but somehow people figured out that that combination in that one moment in a loud room, and it can pick up the digital fingerprint of what that song is and tell you what it is. I want to shake the hand of the guy that figured that out, man.
Yeah, and Suno. Oh my God, AI. Like we were talking about earlier about AI, AI writing lyrics and writing a song, when you put in a prompt, that's bullshit. That's retarded. But using AI to take a song that you wrote and you have the chord progression, you have the vocal melodies, you have the lyrics, and then you end, and it's a shitty fucking demo. I have 1,000 shitty demos from the last 40 years of songs I've written that are like the worst, like Tascam fucking cassette tape recording, shitty production. But you upload it to Suno, you type out all the lyrics, you prompt it, you tell it what you would tell like a human engineer, and boom!
Yeah.
Boom! Your song with the shitty production comes out with the best production ever. That's where AI is useful, because you get to see what your song would sound like if you got signed. Because every songwriter, they all have the same dream. Every songwriter, the dream is to get signed to a major label and to have the best engineer and the best producer make your shit. But it's in your head, because that ain't gonna happen to 99.99999%. It ain't happening. It's just in your head. You have this demo. You wish you got a major label deal. You wish you had Rick Rubin or whoever producing a Bob Rock or whoever the fuck, Flood or whoever. But it's not going to happen. But now with Suno, it is happening. All those songs that you had in your head, you had in your head, like you dreamed, like, I have the vision, but no one had the vision. No one else had the vision. They hear your demo and they go, it sounds like shit. And you're like, yeah, it's shitty production, but what if it had great production?
It's still your vision. It's still your vision. You know, I'm like, I think about stuff like that and like a broad stroke of technology. If you swim against the technology river, you're going to drown. But it's that what you're saying is like the biggest democratization of like music. But if you have a vision, you know, it's like you gotta roll with it a little bit. And like I consider something like Suno like to this, you know, if I were a carpenter, right, and it's like having this new tool on your belt. You know, if you like lie and fake and cheat your way through this is me, but it wasn't you, then I'm not cool with that. But that's like such is life. But you've got, as a carpenter, you got this tool on your belt where you can just go, instead of going to the Home Depot and buying drywall, 2x4s, wall, screws, tape, everything, you can just go wall. Now you might not like the look of that wall, you know, but so then you just like go, I want to like, but it's, you know, there's still a human vision coming through that. And then you can just like, you know, hit wall. Now that wall is maybe just a rough-in of what then you're going to do later when you go to Home Depot and buy the screws and the drywall.
With Suno, you get to see the finished product. It isn't like you put like what I'm doing, I'm putting all my old demos into Suno and prompting it and making fucking reggae versions, country versions, shit that I would have never done. Cause it's like something like, you know, every songwriters they might have a thought like, man, I wonder if this could be a good country song, or I wonder if this song that I have on this little shitty file can be a reggae song or a trance song or a new metal song. You'll never know. You'll never know. Now you know. Now you know, you're like, damn, you can just pop it up. So you get to see it's the potential. It's not like
potential.
No one wants to hear AI vocals. Nobody wants to hear, but that's it. But you get to see what your song would sound like with the ultimate production. And then it inspires you to actually do it and
go do it. Yeah. I mean, I look back at like, okay, so the typewriter, you hit the letter K and you meant to hit the letter J. You know, but now you got to go and fix it on the paper. Well, when we were typing it into like MS-DOS, you hit the letter K, you can just delete it and then hit the letter J.
That's not authentic. It's only authentic if you would have used whiteout and did it over. You know, it's retarded shit. Right? It's retarded.
Yes, sir.
Like up until now, the only way you get to write a movie and write a script and have see the finished product is if some big movie company bought it and they bought the script and they greenlit the production and then made the movie. Real soon, you're going to be able to write a script, write a synopsis of the movie, and then upload it to AI and it makes you the movie. What's wrong with that?
Well, and I also agree that
with that at all.
No, because like I was saying earlier in the podcast, like people will smell out the bullshit if you're trying to fake it, because other humans will know if the vision is human or not. Like if it's completely like, it's the same thing where you're like, you have something, write something for you, then you come up and you get on the microphone and you go da 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 da. It's like people, and it's subconscious. They can tell whether there is a human inspiration because they're humans too. So there's a difference between a tool and a replacement for the finished product, you know?
Yeah. So for me, like I've always thought the songs I've written could have worked in different styles. I always thought that. And I'm sure I'm not the only songwriter who's ever thought that. But now with Suno, you get to hear what it actually sounds like. You just upload your demo and say, hey, make a Rasta or a reggae version of this. Boom. And you're like, oh, shit. It does work. It did work. It would have just been like some vision I had that no one else would have had. And man, I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, it's fun, right? And you're making demo, like we still make demos. So the demo, I like if 3 days, even 3 days grace, if we make a demo, like I will like, I actually went and like hit every drum the way that I like the kick and the snare and the hat and the tom and tom. I have recordings of that, and I'll basically form that, but I can do it using my laptop. Like, I think this is how the drums will sound. And then, I think that this is what that, and then we'll go back and do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So, that's where I think, again, I'm a proponent of using tools that are available to you, and not selling your soul by trying to fool people into the fact that
you gotta write your own lyrics. Don't let fucking AI write your lyrics.
Yeah.
You let AI write your lyrics, even if it's a fucking verse. Don't do that shit.
I agree.
Don't let AI write your music. Say, I want an 80s synth pop song about a girl who leaves a boy for another girl or something like that. That's retarded. And
you'll fool some of the people some of the time with that. But you're like an artistic integrity. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and go, am I like a human that's trying to like do art and show business for the right reasons, or am I trying to fool people? And so that's where I draw the line. But
people, it's not going to be good anyway. There's no way. It's impossible. I know there's this one country song that was like the number one song. There was AI, but I think I don't know. There was like some forces pushing that up because that song ain't shit.
It won't be a shit in 10 years because humans are humans, and show business are a reflection of our own lives, and people want to see their own lives in something that someone else did so that they can find the relation and feel like they're not so different, but the same with us humans, where we are, the cranium is this, and like that comes from there. And I trust that like the bullshit always gets sniffed out eventually.
All the best songs, I would say maybe a couple songs squeezed through over my life, but most of my favorite songs, and I'm sure yours, the lyrics, the song comes from an actual human experience. Whether it's the chord progression with the rhythm involved, and that is coming from a human experience too. But the lyrics, I don't know if I think I would say 99.999% of my top favorite songs, the lyrics came from an actual human experience. You don't want like AI writing your fucking lyrics. That's retarded. But I will say this though, man. I in my speed metal days in the 80s, early in metal, everybody was looking for the ultimate guitar sound. Like how you capture the ultimate guitar sound, and that was like almost impossible to do if you didn't have any money. If you were doing a demo in a garage, even if you were on an indie label, guitar sounds on indie labels, they're still like subpar. They're not that good. And then there was like Metallica. Like Metallica's kind of they're almost mastering the guitar sound, and like Pantera even. But now the guitar sound has been mastered. AI mastered the guitar. That shit is fucking mastered, dude. So,
but then people get sick of that sound and they want something more dangerous and off. Like that's a cycle too. Like, if you just perfect something, people listen. Rock and roll. Like if you think about the term rock and roll, okay, the way that I've kind of heard about it or believe in it is that before there was rock and roll, there was a boat that was rolling down the river. And that boat was nice and safe, really happy. The music is like, everything's going to be okay. You know, there were a lot of like minor songs with like classical music with all the classical guys. But for the most part, it was like, everything's going to be okay because we're rolling down the river on a big boat. Rock and roll comes and rocks and rolls the boat. You don't know if you're going to fall off. It's fucking dangerous. It's a dangerous feeling. It's a dangerous sound. And that is what rock and roll is. So if you start to perfect everything too much, then it's the human tendency for the people that like fucking rock and roll to go, fuck that. I want to hear the mistakes. I want to see it live. I want to like get that vibe that it's dangerous. And I think that that's never going to go away.
Yeah, that is definitely, I agree with that 100%. Also, if you take production that's not special anymore because everyone does it, like you could just take like a voice, someone's singing voice that's, you know, good pitch, good vocal strength, and then an acoustic guitar, which is pretty much kind of already been mastered. And then it all comes down to that, exactly what you were saying earlier, where if they, like I said, guitar production has been perfected. But if the song is good, it doesn't matter that the music has been perfected and it's kind of like blase. It's like normal. It's amazing production, but it's all. But if the song, the melody, is amazing and makes you want to put it on repeat, it doesn't matter that the production is like, we've heard that production a million times because we've heard the voice and the acoustic guitar more than anything ever. And we're never sick of that. We're never sick of a good vocal melody with an acoustic guitar or a good vocal melody with a piano. And we've heard piano's been the same forever. So it all comes down to what you said. Is does the chord progression mesh with the vocal melody and the lyrics perfectly and heavenly? And does it make you want to hear it again? And are you putting it on repeat again? Because any song that I don't want to put on repeat again, I can never say it's an amazing song. I only say it's an amazing song if I'm like, put that motherfucker on again, play it again, play it again. That's a truly amazing song.
Yeah. And, you know, life is not safe. You know, it's like there's the world is not like all cushy with soft edges. Life has like hard edges, and life is like, it's like, it's not safe. It's dangerous. So everything in art, the thing that people are, you know, this is my opinion, that people want that sort of like reflection of the suffering and the basically facing of things that have hard edges that are kind of dangerous from time to time. As soon as you make everything safe, people are not going to want to hear that in art. Let me just, you know,
for sure, like a movie too, like when like a movie without any
conflict,
like who would want to watch that? And it's crazy because sometimes you find yourself, or at least I would find myself in a movie hoping for less conflict because I'm already attached to a certain character in the movie.
Sure.
And I don't want anything bad to happen to them. But I'm like so caught up in it. I'm like, wait a minute. If nothing bad happens to them, this movie would suck. Something bad has to happen, and then they overcome it. And you want to live through it and not have anybody tell you what's going on. Because if you go to a movie and you go see a movie with a friend who already saw the movie, if it gives you spoilers, you punch them. But if you think about it logically, you'd be like, why wouldn't you want to know what's going to happen so you don't stress out about if they're going to die or not? But that's not how life works. We don't want to know. We don't want to know. We want to walk through it and experience it for ourselves. We don't want anybody to spoil it for us. That's weird, right?
It is. And I also really believe like that I have this theory. Everyone's favorite word is their own name. Not for like, and everyone's favorite thought is to be reminded that they're not alone. So when you can see struggle in the arts and go, I've kind of felt like that. Then you feel less alone, and you feel like that person relates to your journey, which is not all fucking roses. Yeah. And that's it, man. That's it. That's art, man. To me, in my perspective, bro.
That's life too, because
it is.
Like, you got to look at life like that too, because when bad things happen to you, it's almost like like we're supposed to go through bad shit, because if we don't go through bad shit, how are we going to feel the good shit?
You don't feel the good shit.
You would never feel the good shit if all you had was good shit. If that's all you had was good shit, you wouldn't even know what good shit was. You would think that's like baseline, like it wasn't good shit. So we need the peaks and valleys. Sometimes the sadness is necessary, because without that sadness, how are we going to feel like that joy later on? So it's like a roller coaster. Like, you can't dip down and have that roller coaster feeling without climbing up first, So,
amen. I don't think anyone could put it better than that, bro.
Roller coasters, Magic Mountain. What's next for 3 Days Grace? I know I see you guys on the road. You guys are fucking killing it in Europe, and you guys are in Japan or some shit. Where are you guys?
Not Japan, but we're going to like Turkey for the first time. We're going to Greece for the first time. I got a month off. I'm just chilling here. We're supposed to, like, I don't know if you've looked at the weather for like I'm not in upstate New York, but I'm right across Lake Ontario on the other side. Yeah. There's like this we're gonna get a lot of snow here. And
if you guys need security at the show, I'll do it for free. I'll just show up, stand around,
dude.
I'll bob my head when I hear my favorite shit. But if you need a security man, I'll be there. Head of security, dog.
The tour starts in 1 month. I'm just chilling up here. I'm actually going to the Waste Management PGA Open in Phoenix in a couple of weeks. It's going to be I've never been to PGA.
What is that?
It's like the company that sponsors the PGA like tournament in Phoenix. So that's my only I'm going to there for a little bit, but I got 1 month, and then I get on the bus and get on the plane with 3 Days Grace. Shit, man, you put me on the spot. All I know is I'm gonna be there, bro.
That's how huge.
It starts in beautiful Fort Wayne, Indiana, bro. On February 21st. That's the down date, and then we have about 70 shows this year.
God,
all over the world.
You guys are big than ever now, right? Bigger than you were into the 2000s.
Yeah, man. We're blessed, bro. It's just like let's go.
Because one of my friends is good friends with the bass player that Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember hanging out with them, 15 years ago. And, I knew his wife too. And Limp Bizkit was kind of broke. They didn't know what they were going to do.
Yeah.
Wes Borland going to come back. And it was like, damn, Limp Bizkit is struggling, and they're fighting over money or whatever. Now they're fucking massive.
Yeah.
Blowing. Same thing with Korn and Deftones. Deftones is doing stadiums and shit now.
Man, people want the OG. They don't want the AI. They want the OG. Oh, yeah. It's coming back.
There's no more bands anymore. You guys are the last bands. You guys talk about that? You guys are the last. There's no bands anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's a cycle too, man. The future's bright in music and rock and roll. Anyone that thinks that rock and roll is nothing but where it's going to be, I mean, it's going to happen. It's happening, man. People want the real deal. Rough around the edges and dangerous, bro.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thank you for taking your time to do this interview. I had a blast. You're
Me too,
man. I don't know if you heard, but me and Cam are working on something with
awesome.
And that's Cam just sent me the latest stuff yesterday.
Yeah, I've heard. Mizell, he's a beast. Ken Mizell is he's one of the freshest producers. He's just he's changing the game, man. I love that guy. His energy's so good, and
nice to hear what he's cooking up.
Send it to me, man, soon.
I will, man. Thank you, dude.
Thank you, man. Thanks, Eddie. All right, you too, bud. Bye.
The Jiu-Jitsu Dojo is the ultimate training ground for life. Jiu-Jitsu will accelerate the evolution of your being, your consciousness, your soul. Through this amazing art, you will prove to yourself that you can master anything you set your mind to.
Happy birthday, Eddie Bravo.
I leave for Brazil tomorrow.
Are you the Fear Factor guy?
I'm like 6 pounds over. Time to sweat it out. Just imagine someone that has no idea how different your game is.
I'll tell you what this weekend was, man. It was a culmination point where all your hard work comes to like one great moment in time. You showed that you're a fucking champion, guy who goes against convention. You created your own shit and figured interesting ways to get around problems in jiu-jitsu. And shows you that great things are possible if you work hard, if you dedicate yourself, and you use your creativity, and you push through. Your own human potential just goes up.
My 10th Planet Association has grown rapidly to over 70 academies worldwide, and their curriculums are all synced to 10th Planet headquarters located in downtown Los Angeles. I'm Eddie Bravo. I hope to see you on the mats.